Episode 131 Above Ground Podcast. Everybody hurts.
Disclaimer. The hosts of this podcast, Timothy Patrick and Will Foley, are by no means medical professionals. However, having lived experience with mental illness themselves, they have gained useful perspectives on common mental health issues that some of us struggle to overcome on a daily basis. By sharing their stories, they hope to create connection. By creating connection, they hope to help you find your purpose. And through purpose, we can all begin to build the foundation for positive mental health. This is Above Ground Podcast.
Are you ready to lace up your boots, throw up your horns, and jump into the pit? Then let's stomp the stigmas of mental illness. It's time for Above Ground Podcast. Now, Will Foley and Timothy Patrick.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to
Above Ground Podcast.
Above Ground Podcast.
Because you can't serve below.
No, you cannot. That's right. Unless, of course, you're a zombie and you can bust out of the ground like Night of the Living Dead. What's up, everyone? How we doing out there? Pod people?
Pod people in podcast land.
What's up, Timmy? You down with TPP?
Yeah, you know me.
What's up, buddy? How we doing this week?
Doing all right.
Yeah, what are we talking about this week, man?
Talking about getting dirty.
Dirty? Whoa, hey, wait a second. I haven't even gotten a pat.
Talking about the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again.
Whoa, that sounds like healing.
Sounds like healing.
Whoa. Wow, a lot of us got to heal from shit, man.
We all have to heal from stuff, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff to heal from.
Absolutely. And
wow.
I think, I think the one thing that people don't realize about healing is it can be worse than what you need to heal from.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's it can be a very, very hard process to heal from things because you have to face things, you have to answer questions, you have to look at things with an open mind and an open heart. And when you're hurt, it's hard to open your heart, man.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
And you can't heal without an open heart because it's not healing. It's just, it's not.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a ladder, you know?
What, healing?
Yeah.
It's a ladder. You just start at the first rung and you start to climb. I mean, I think that can go for anything. Yeah. I mean, I think the ladder analogy, staircase, any of that,
yeah.
Climbing out of something, for sure. Because if you have to heal from something, then something has hurt you. But I think one way to start thinking about that, though, is if something hurts you, then that means that you're a human being. So maybe your healing may not be as hard as you think it might be. Because everybody gets hurt. We're all hurt. We all get hurt. We all play hurt.
Yeah, I don't know if necessarily it's I guess strictly, hurt too. It could just be something that can disrupt your life.
Well, isn't that hurt? I'm not talking about boo-boos. I'm not talking about Band-Aids.
No, I know, but I don't know. I guess I don't know if that would be would that be like centralized with hurt?
Sure.
Okay.
Anything can hurt you. I mean, you may not look at it as a hurt.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
But it's still
it
hurts you.
Yeah. No, we'll go with it.
I mean, if it leaves a mark, you're hurt. So if you have to heal from it, it's left a mark. So and part of that is acknowledgement. And I think that maybe that's the biggest question. Can you acknowledge what's hurt you?
Well, that's.
And if you can't acknowledge it, you can't heal it. So
you have to name it to tame it, right?
That's right. Yeah, you got to name it to tame it, man.
Yeah, I think for me the most, I guess one of the most important things related to healing is recognizing what it is and recognizing the role that you play in that process.
See, it's all about you. You don't heal without you. You don't heal without your acknowledgement. You
Right.
don't heal without your work. And you don't heal without your willingness. And that, my friends, is the biggest key to healing, is the willingness to acknowledge and to change that pain into something that you can live with. And many of us are afraid of how bad that's going to hurt. And I can only imagine what some of the pain that people are walking around with these days is. I
Yeah.
mean, Timmy and I know this firsthand. We've heard many stories of different people about different things.
Yeah, and I get amazed each time. Each person
Yeah.
has something that they're carrying or pushing along, and it's inspiring. I think, to hear these things and to realize that as humans we all can. That's the thing, and people get into the comparison aspect of it, and like, oh, well, they were able to do it because of this, or they're not as worse off as I am, and it's like, shut up with that shit. It's like, we've heard stories of, all across the board, and some are just like, some will just stop you right in your tracks, but they all, not only they all survive, but a lot of them are thriving through this.
No, they're all thriving. If you're still here, you're thriving.
Okay, that's fair.
I like, let's give a really big shout out to everybody who's here, because you know what, man, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough getting up every day at that alarm clock to face a life that you're not fucking happy with, man. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of weight to carry around.
Right.
But I will say this. The work to heal that is hard. It's hard, man. It is hard. But I'm going to tell you, it is a benefit. It is a benefit to the entire universe. Because the better human that you are, the better you leave the planet. You're less likely to have issues with anything if you are a healed person.
Well, it's funny because I think one of the I guess I'll just say step for right now. One of the steps that I would include in that, the healing process, would be like your own, like you were saying, like you have to make the change. Like, yeah, it sucks to get up every day, like Will said, and go to a job or go somewhere you may dislike or maybe hard or whatever. But ultimately, like, you have to make that change. Whether, you may not be able to make a career change at this point, but you can change your outlook or your perception on the day,
Yeah, and it's all really about how you frame it.
Yeah.
And again, but it really comes down to you. It comes down to your willingness. But again, if you are hurt, okay, takes a lot, man. It's a lot of energy just to get the thought together to heal yourself, let alone putting the pieces in place to heal yourself. Because if you want to heal, wow, you got a lot of stuff to do. You're going to have to get a therapist. You're going to have to do some homework. You're going to have to answer some hard questions. You're going to have to make some tough decisions.
It's funny, I have written down a willingness, and that's what you said like multiple times already. And I think you're right. Like, you have to find like the self-awareness, and you have to have the willingness to not only find that, but to heal and to accept that, you know what, you may have a hand in your own suffering, and healing is going to be difficult. Healing is ugly. You're going to get dirty. And healing can mean leaving people behind. Healing can mean dropping habits that you have done for 10 years or most of your life. It means getting rid of that shit in the toy chest, undoing the latches and dumping it out and saying, does this serve me or does this sabotage me?
Yeah, see, we're brought up, we're spoon-fed a culture of we need more. And you're going to be better off if you have one more thing, one more item, one more this, one more that. But the fact of the matter is that's a lie, because the fact is that in order to be more complete, you have to shed. And you shed. And you shed. And you shed. And you shed until you are literally down to the core of what and who you are. And I recently saw an episode of Ozark, and I didn't quite understand what the guy from the cartel was doing, but he had Jason Bateman's character, and I don't know much about the show. I've only watched some episodes. I know it's kind of neat and it's really intriguing, but I know he's mixed up with the Mexican drug cartel, and he was locked down in the basement, and the guy from the cartel kept yelling down to him, "What do you want?" And he couldn't really answer. He would throw out all these stupid, superficial answers. And the guy would get pissed off, and then he would lock him back up, and he played death metal like at god-awful volumes. Really? Yeah, it was cool in the show. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, this wouldn't be torture for me. I'd be like fucking banging my head. And he finally, at the end, must have answered it because he set him free. And it got me thinking about, what do you want? But in order to get anything that you want, you have to have a willingness to get it. But you have to also have the self-awareness to realize that you need the willingness to get it. And self-awareness, self-awareness is so important. It is so important.
Yeah,
and
it's huge, especially in this. I think particularly, I think it's needed. I just think you need it. You need it.
Well, you do. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think you need to have self-awareness. But again, if you didn't have self-awareness, you wouldn't even be asking if you need to heal. And see, this is the thing. Whoever, like, whatever, somebody's standing out there, they're going to work every day. They don't, their life is just what it is. They're not questioning anything. Like, they're just going through the motions. They don't even know that their life isn't healed. They don't even know they have anything to heal. How do you knock somebody into healing mode? Well, fuck. Throw them in a car accident. That'll make them question their life really quick. Maybe. You know what I mean? Get them fire them from their job. Again,
it just sucks that we have to.
But that's what happens, though.
Yeah, no, I know, and I think that's why I'm saying with self-awareness and willingness. I think you have to be, if you're self-aware, I think then that you have certain areas that may be deficits, we'll call them, and that you feel like you could work on them, and I don't see. I think everybody's different, so I think that some people, you're going to get into a situation where if someone is telling you need to heal, then you're going to put your heels in the ground and be like, no, I'm not gonna, because I don't think I need to. You know what I mean? I think you have to kind of be the willingness to it. But you have to be ready. I mean, there's a lot of facets to healing, and I think, sometimes, as I said, it can be worse than the illness or the situation that you're in, that you have to heal from. And you can also lose yourself in the process.
Oh, you can totally lose yourself in the process. Healing is not for the faint of heart, man. But
it's worth it.
And what do you got to lose? Everything. Right. You get to lose yourself, man. You get to lose. I mean, you could find an amazing feeling at the end of it. And it's weird because everything that we want is on that other end of that wall that we're afraid to go over.
Oh, sure.
And it's...
But I think it goes back to what you said earlier, is we're tricked into this, this big scam that, we need something that's outside of ourselves, which is a complete bullshit story that we were spoon-fed. I think everything that we need is actually inside of us. And we may need to get some help. We may need to exercise our free will and go out and find books or a therapist or whatever to help us. But they themselves, these other outside entities, can't make us heal. They can't heal us. We have to do the work, and we have to heal ourselves.
Right. Nobody can do this for you. But I will tell you this. You can certainly ask for somebody to help you start the process.
Absolutely.
And there is no shortage of that anywhere. So,
yeah, no, I think that would, I guess, would be a part of it, is is acknowledging it and saying like, hey, you know what, I need help on either where to start or what, how I should go about this. I mean, there's no.
I don't know if you actually. I mean, you got to ask. You got to ask what I need to heal. I think you really do. I think you got to start with that question. What is it that I need to heal?
Yeah, but that you need to ask yourself, I think.
Yes, you do. But you also
yeah.
have to acknowledge that there's something that you need to heal.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to look at yourself in the mirror and say, there's something about me that doesn't feel quite right that I need to answer. What am I not seeing? Who am I not being because of something? And what is that something that I'm not seeing? Because we all have blind spots.
Sure.
And look, we all have something to heal. Okay? We all have something to heal. It may not be, monumental, but let me tell you, it could make your life a whole hell of a lot better.
Well, and it could be, I think that it could be something that, again, like you may not think that you need to heal from something, but if, I'm just going to use this as an example. If there was an interpersonal situation where a relationship or whatever it is, it could be at work or it could be romantic, whatever. But if you're having a problem with somebody at work and they're constantly triggering you, let's say, well, you know what? Maybe it's not just them. Maybe it's something inside of you that's getting triggered that you need to look at.
Oh, it always is. It always is. Because you're a reflection. Your life is a reflection back to you of how you feel. And I really do believe that. I think that if you're mad and angry, you're going to be met with mad and angry people. If you're happy, you're going to be met with happy people.
Yeah, I think
your world
sometimes
is,
you can be met with assholes because they're everywhere. So
sometimes it could just be a test.
You know what I mean?
It could just be testing you.
I've had people tell me in the past, like, being single, and it's like, well, you attract what you put out, and I'm like, yeah, to a degree. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't put out fucking, clueless, uneducated crap. You know what I mean? So it's like if that comes to me, it doesn't mean that I put it out there. It's just for some reason that.
Well, it doesn't mean that you're putting out that, but what are you putting out that's attracting that? Because again, and look, man, I've had to answer this myself. I've attracted all the same shit that I brought to myself. And you got to take and even if I can't prove all of it, I'll still take it because I still a lot of the shit I've brought on myself. And I brought it on by either my unwillingness to ask, my ignorance, my fear, my insecurity. I never realized how insecure a person I really was.
So speaking up, though, could possibly.
Speaking up certainly helps.
Yeah.
And the thing is this. Anything that you do, the minute you start to do it, you're going to face resistance. Okay? That's it for everybody. Everything, okay? Everything. And especially when it comes to changing yourself.
Oh, for sure.
But the thing is that once you get that first little taste of insight that says, wow, maybe I thought this because of this. And then you go back and you're like, you have 3 or 4 memories that say yes. Then you know you're onto something. And that little momentum carries you into the next thing. And that's the thing is that you can't move a rock unless you've got something to move that rock with, because that rock is standing still and that rock is a lot bigger. So unless you get a fulcrum to get that rock moving, it isn't going to move. So what is that fulcrum? And that fulcrum is questions. And Tim and I have been starting to explore questions in some episodes here. And it's like you got to ask, and you got to be willing to hear the answers, and that it's that willingness and that self-awareness and that acknowledgement to say, yeah, there's something in me that isn't right, and it hurts, and it's not fun, and I don't want to be this way anymore, or I don't want to feel this way anymore. It's not about being away, it's about feeling this way.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It's
No, I agree. I don't want to get into these too much, but I do want to just recognize them and then give a shout out because after this episode airs, I would think probably like a month after you'll probably see one of our guests, Anna Elizabeth, and I came across as I was kind of researching healing and just trying to educate myself on different aspects of it. I came across these 5 facets of healing, and when I got done, I just thought it was pretty cool, to be honest with you. And so when I got done, I looked up this woman on Instagram, found her on Instagram, and just reached out and said, hey, I dig what you're doing, and it'd be cool if you could come on and talk to us about the 5 facets of healing, because that's her own thing. And so yeah, she'll be on an upcoming episode soon. But she has the 5 facets of healing. I'm just gonna go through them. We don't have to explore each individual.
Oh, we
one.
might want to talk about these puppies.
That's all right.
We never know.
So step 1 is choose grief.
Choose grief. Wow.
Without grief, there'd be no need for healing. So before we can think about or enter into healing, we must first honor our sorrow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man.
That's what I mean.
That makes a lot of sense.
Of these that was like, okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Step 2 is choose acceptance. Two of the biggest culprits that bind us to grief are, 1, the sense that we need to overcome strife is what we need to overcome strife is somehow outside of us. And 2, a belief that we cannot survive a particular adversity. So,
wow.
Yeah, again, pretty cool. Again, I'm not going to get into too much, but step 3 is choose your facets. The 5 facets exist as a hierarchy of the personal traits that drive our conflicts and our successes. Choosing our facets hierarchy helps us get closer to the sources of our strengths and our suffering. Step 4, choose healing. Of course, what does it start with? Do the hard work.
Well, right, and that's really what it is, man. That's about the hard work. It's about the work you put in.
Yeah, it's cool because she says we can begin identifying where our conflicts and struggles lie within each of the categories. As you lay them out, you can put them in a category and kind of identify them better.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Step 5 is choose vitality. Even those of us who have experienced firsthand the truth that nothing in life is guaranteed fall victim to the drudgeries of day-to-day I don't even know how to pronounce it. MINUTIA.
Monotony.
Well, it's not. Yeah, but that. Yes. Yeah. We'll say monotony. I don't know if that's what she wanted to say, but
it is monotony
and the return of old thinking and habits. Yeah.
Yeah. That's monotony every day. The case of the dailies.
Dailies. So choosing vitality is a conscious and deliberate decision to prioritize the lessons we've learned and to continue implementing the strategies we've discovered.
Wow.
So it'll be an interesting conversation.
That will be an interesting conversation with
I'm
her.
looking forward to it, and always looking to get some new tools and some new perspectives on healing.
Yeah, healing's a tricky thing, man, because how do you decide when you're healed? When it doesn't hurt anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, is it really that simple?
I mean, the answer is that simple, but the process is not that simple.
Yeah, but is the answer even that simple, though? I mean, is that...
I think you're healed when... again, when I say healed, I'm not saying as a whole. I'm saying in a particular... Like, if there was something that triggered you before and you can go up against it, then number one, either it doesn't trigger you or it triggers you and you don't react the way you have in the past.
Okay.
If you don't allow that hurt to come in, and if you can handle it in a positive, healthy manner, then yeah, I think that's healing.
Okay.
What do you think?
I can't really argue with that, man. Healing is just, to me, just so complicated.
It is, for sure.
And there's so many, and I'm sure that there's levels of healing because, again, there's certain things that you can heal rather quick. You can heal a misunderstanding, but you can't heal certain things as quick.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
And and again, I think it comes down to an acknowledgement, and that there needs to be something needs to be healed, and
for sure,
and all the other things.
I could be wrong, but I think that when you do start to heal, maybe you're not healed, but when you start the process and you're working on healing, and you're working on healing a couple different things, I think as you get closer to healing those things, it makes it easier to heal other things that
it's momentum. Momentum is the key for
anything.
They're
connected too. I think a lot of the stuff is connected.
Yeah,
you know
I mean? I think so too.
Boil down everything to your inner negative core belief.
Sure. Right.
So that there's a weight, there's an anchor, and it's got strings. You know what I mean? But it all leads to that.
Yeah, and this anchor isn't a good one. Some anchors are good. Some anchors hold you in place.
No, yeah, for
they
sure.
hold you against the storms. Others can drag you to your depths and drown you.
I think, if you have to be open. I think you have to be willing to accept anything, and not only accept anything, but, commit to the goal or the plan, but commit to actions that will also arise and help you reach that goal.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, like you said, it's very complicated, but you have to commit. You have to really let go and say, it's not always about the destination. It's about the path. And if you're going to walk a path that's unhealed, that path is going to be, filled with tree stumps and vines and rocks. You know what I mean? So
it's not going to be a pretty path.
As you heal, you want that path to clean up a little bit better. So, again, it's not about the destination, it's about the path. So if you can make the path more joy and more, I guess, more of a better path to walk, then that would be a ideal goal. Ideal situation.
I get it. And that is true, man. And that healing is a path, but it's not a path to be taken lightly. But it is a path that can lead to great things, man. Healing, you never know what you're going to experience after you heal something. You heal a relationship. I mean,
I think no matter what, I think you may not know what you're going to experience, but I feel like it's going to be positive no matter what.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah, I agree.
Because again, you may lose people. You may lose things that, you thought were important.
I would say that you will lose things. I wouldn't say you may. This is the thing that I've learned about recovery, is that recovery is uncovering all that's there, but it's also about what you don't take with you. And and unfortunately, man, there are certain things that you can't take with you all the time, no matter how bad you want to. And you have to be willing to accept that. And then again, there's that willingness. You have to be willing
to accept anything. And you have to be willing to accept, I think, when I say anything, I mean the process too. You have to be willing to say, you know what, maybe if someone approached me a year ago, I would be like, I'm not doing that. But you have to be willing to whether
right time, right
place. Whether you need medication, whether you need therapy, whether you need X, Y, and Z, that stuff you need to put on the table, and not say, you know what, I'm never going to do this, because maybe put it to the side for now because you don't want to get to that yet. But if you need to do that, it should be an option.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. Part of my reasons for not using medication currently is because I don't want to have to be on those medications until I drop dead. Now, does that mean I won't ever use them if I need them? No, because I know what they can do.
Right.
I just know what they also can
Right,
do.
exactly. And I'm not pushing it or denying it one
I'm
way or the
also
other.
I'm also not opposed to medication as much as I used to be anymore, just because I know in certain situations that, there might be a time when you need something a little bit heavier than things that you can get otherwise.
Right. And again, everybody's different. And if you live with a severe mental illness, you're probably going to be guaranteed to be taking medication,
At one point or another.
Yeah. It's just gonna be on the table. So again, I think it's one of those things where you have to be open and accept that it might be an option,
Right. Yeah.
Because it's just it's another hurdle. It's another hill that's in your way that's going to be, I'm not going to do this. You know what I mean? Like then it's you're adding on to the shit that you're already trying to work through. Like just be open to it. Be open to the process and be open to whatever may help. You may not want to do it, but if you get to that point, like you said, you don't want to get to that point where a crisis or the car accident or whatever it may be, to this big event that you go, okay, well now I have to do this.
Right. You don't want to have to do anything.
Right.
Because when you have to do something, it makes it twice as hard. And you kind of take some of your own personal power away. Because you add a lot more. Right. You add a lot more to it when you have to do something.
You do. You're absolutely right. You're right.
And it's
which could have adverse effects on just because now you're forced into it. So you're going back. You're giving up some autonomy, and you're like, I don't want to do that. And then again, you're adding more shit on top of what you already are trying to heal.
Right. And again, we do that because we don't want to heal. We do that because we want to avoid. Yeah. Even when we're doing good.
Do you think we want to avoid like the pain and discomfort?
Well, aren't we always trying to avoid discomfort? I mean, realistically,
maybe.
Aren't we?
Sometimes I like to jump into the discomfort.
Depends on what the discomfort is. Yeah. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm kind of enjoying discomfort right now.
But I think
it's painful, but it hurts.
But I think it gives you that, like, again,
it gives me a little bit of strength.
I know I jumped into it.
Yes.
So you know what I mean? So if it was forced onto me, I feel like it's going to be worse.
Well, if
I jump into it was one of these things, I'm going to face this head on.
Yes.
And whatever happens, I'm going to fight.
Yeah. If it blindsides you, puts you in a different frame of reference. You're feeling attacked, so that puts you on the defensive. Now, if you go in with your eyes open, you're on the offensive. And the offensive is definitely a better place to be.
I like it.
Because then that means you're looking at things with open eyes, or at least as open as you can be at the time. Because again, man, none of these problems that we deal with, like when we have any sort of mental illness or mental health challenge, or even not a mental health challenge, and just the dailies, man. This is tough, and we can get so caught in our own heads so fast, and things can get so out of control way before we even know it, man.
Even know it. You could be snowballing down the hill, and you don't even realize
you could be, Clark Griswold going down on that
Later,
little saucer, man, and you next thing you know, you're in 2 towns over, and you don't know how to get home, man.
And you see Uncle Eddie. Bingo. That's awesome. Oh man, I like that though. I like, if you when you're getting ready to heal, I think stand on the offensive line.
Yeah, well, you got to look. It's not to be taken lightly. If you're forced into it, okay? If something happens in your life and somebody gives you an ultimatum, or somebody tells you something that you don't like, or something, or if a relationship is ending, or any of that stuff, okay? Those things you kind of get thrust upon you at times. Not always. Sometimes you can see these things coming. That doesn't make them any easier to handle. It doesn't make you any more qualified to handle it, nor does it make you any more unqualified to handle it. Because you know what, man? No matter what you think about yourself, and what anybody else thinks about you is none of your business, because that has nothing to do with how you feel about yourself necessarily. Let me just tell you that I believe in you. Because if I can have the insights that I've had, anybody can, man. It doesn't take much. It just takes a little work.
It's funny that you say that, because like when I say that to people, sometimes they get the wrong impression, like maybe my ego is coming out or something, like when I'm like, no, you can do this too. Like, you already have it. Like, and they're like, no, you know. I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like, but I'm looking at it as almost like you said, like, I don't view myself as necessarily like this super strong person.
No, me neither.
So if I'm able to do some of this stuff,
right,
then you should be able to do some of
absolutely.
this
And
stuff.
I still think, and again, though, man, it is in how it's presented and in how the vibe you throw off. Because I will say this, there is something to vibe from people, and some people's vibes don't vibe with me. And, and you can, and I am way susceptible to that.
For sure.
I definitely pick up on stuff like that.
But I think it's good that you pick up on it for your own.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, and you can do this. This is not impossible. It's not impossible. The only thing that's impossible is the thing that you don't do. And start. Like, that's really the impossible thing. It's not impossible to start this and see results for yourself. Because the only thing you stand to gain is a better hold of life, man. Everything on the other side of what you're scared of is everything that you need, regardless of whether you want it or not, man.
Right.
And you know what I started to look at? The gap from where you are to where you want to be, dude, is only a motorcycle jump. It's literally only Caesar's Palace.
I was just going to say, an Evel Knievel jump? Or?
It's Caesar's Palace, man. And you know what? Even though he failed at that jump, he didn't fail because he created a whole entire world about him just from that jump, man.
Right.
And that's my point. It's like, you got to be willing to take the jump. You got to be willing to get in the arena and get dirty and get bloody. Sure. This is not, dude, you don't get a second chance at this.
Yeah, this isn't, like you said, it's not for the faint of heart. And
no,
and
this
you're
isn't a faint of heart.
You're going to get dirty, man, but at the same time, there's people out there, to help. There is, if you're lucky enough to have a family support system, but if you don't, there you can find groups out there.
Yeah,
or
dude, find a struggle buddy.
That, a struggle buddy. And it's funny because we're talking about healing, and last week we had Laura from Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga on, and they offer some great options to heal. So I think it's pretty cool that we had these two kind of healing episodes back to back, and just in time for Christmas too, because Christmas will be in a couple of weeks. Maybe a week or whatever from now. So with that, I guess, happy holidays and.
Wow. Happy Hanukkah.
Stuff.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho,
ho. Ho, ho, ho.
Watch Christmas Story 24 hours.
Yes. And make sure you watch Elf.
Elf.
I like smiling. Smiling's my favorite, but I like healing. Healing's my favorite.
Healing is my favorite. Is it? Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't healed.
When you're able to
I haven't healed yet. I'll
when
let
you're
you
able
know.
to, no, you've healed a little bit.
No, I have.
You definitely have.
I definitely have. It's funny though, man. It just kind of happens. You just kind of start doing it, and you don't think anything's happening. Next thing you know, you've integrated like 2 or 3 things, and you're like, "What the fuck happened there?"
But I feel like that's how it should be. You shouldn't focus solely on the outcome or just healing itself. Is just kind of doing it and focus more and make the path a better place to walk.
Yeah.
Through the process.
And you know what? Healing actually makes everything better. Makes the world better. Makes your energy better.
I'm not sure it makes peanut butter better.
How can you make peanut butter better? Oh, you know how? Putting chocolate with it. Yeah. All right.
On that note.
Don't forget, follow us on the socials. Check the notifications. Click the links. All that happy horse shit, man. And until next week, be well.
Be safe.
Be above.